We're rocking and rolling with Real Talk with Aaron and Steve here on Steve Shetler Media. Another Monday rolls around. Aaron, what's up? What's cooking in your world?
Well, it's been a strange winter so far. We had a ton of snow, and then it got warm again, and
yeah, here we are.
Here we are. Can't control the weather, so you just roll along.
Exactly.
So, strange winter, but good times. Christmas is by now a distant memory.
Yes.
Even January. We got through January, the longest month of the year.
And 300 days of January, and we made it out.
We made it through. So here we are, and we're rolling forward and having good times and talking these days about calling.
Yeah.
And what is it that your life is uniquely shaped to do, and what gives you meaning? I want to give a shout out to one of my favorite websites. Is called Despair Inc.
Okay. It doesn't sound very uplifting.
We ought to put a link to it in the comments, but Despair Inc. Sells a wide variety of demotivational products.
Right.
You've all seen the motivational posters.
Sure.
Well, Despair Inc. publishes demotivational posters, and one of my favorite ones has, and they're just like the motivational posters, with the beautiful, the beautiful photography and the inspirational quote at the bottom. But there's a picture of a ship sinking at sea, and it says, something like failure. Perhaps the meaning of your life is to serve as a warning to others.
Nice. I'm gonna have to check that out.
You'll enjoy Despair Inc.
Sounds like something right up my alley.
It would be. So hopefully the meaning of your life is to do more than to serve as a warning to others. But it could be so many different things. We've got so many gifts and so many talents, and the simple things in life are often the best and the most meaningful. Being a dad, being a mom, being a son or a daughter, having a family, being a member of a community who's known as a hard worker. Those kinds of things can be as precious as being a doctor or, a governor or a preacher or a missionary. So what is it? We just want to ask our listeners every week, what is it that you're designed to do? And then we just want to encourage you, get out there and start doing it.
Yeah.
But since we're talking about our listeners, we need to give shout outs again. We didn't get any comments in the last week, so we'll just say hi to the same friends as before. Sure. David up in Verona, and Tony down in Mississippi, and Sean down in Fort Madison. So hello again to you guys, and we're waiting for the rest of our listeners to say hi in the comment section.
Yeah, we kind of look through who hits the like or the hearts or whatever, and there's an interesting bunch there. Assuming that they're all real people, which you never know on Facebook or social media. But if they are real people, there's like Philippines, India. There's a worldwide audience. And if you're part of that and you're a real person, let us know that you're a real person. Maybe throw a comment out there and say hello in whatever language you speak.
Yeah. So, good. I want to talk a little bit, just real briefly, before I start asking Steve probing questions about his own calling in life. We've been looking recently at the book of 1 Samuel, kind of in the first third of the Bible is where you would find that, or you can find it on your Bible app on your cell phone. Would be pretty simple too. But we've been looking at the story of this kid named Samuel, who gets dropped off as a little boy at the temple, and he just starts doing priestly kind of stuff. He's just taking care of business while other leaders in the temple are busy. Well, Eli literally is getting fat on the offerings that the people bring, and he'll come to a dark and terrible end before too long. But everybody else is focused on other things. And Samuel just keeps his head down and keeps ministering as best he knows how. And to me, it's a cool illustration of how we can start small. And I think pretty much all of us start small. I started at about 8 pounds. and then I grew, right? So for those of you who don't know, Steve has been in several different rock bands.
Yeah, I've been in a few. Some good, some not so good.
What was the main band that you were in?
Well, Piercing the Darkness was the big Christian rock band that I was in for about 11 years here. It's been probably longer than I think now, but it's been at least 5 years ago that we kind of called it quits. But yeah, we had a nice 11-year run from about 2007 to probably about 2017, somewhere in there. So yeah, 7 years ago that we called it quits. But it was a very, very interesting ride.
Now I'm curious, what is the largest crowd that Piercing the Darkness ever played for?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Several hundred at least, maybe a few thousand.
And what venue maybe was one of the bigger venues that you played?
I'm trying to think. We played at we played it as far as venues go. We played at the baseball stadium in Cedar Rapids where the Colonels play baseball. We played there. We played at a few different big festivals here in Iowa. We played at the Iowa State Fair. We played at there's the Sweet Corn Serenade over in Oskaloosa, which sounds, you say Sweet Corn Serenade and it sounds kind of goofy, but I mean the square in Oskaloosa is jam-packed full of people. So I don't know how many people were there, but yeah, so we played to crowds of nothing, literally 0 people to
Well, that was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
So
we got booked at a church in Pella one time, and basically the church just completely forgot about it. And we showed up to play the gig, and there was literally one person there. So they were just kind of there doing whatever they were doing, and we had no crowd. So, yeah.
Okay, so you've played the Colonel Stadium in Cedar Rapids and the Sweet Corn Serenade, and you have played to literally no one.
Yeah. If you count the one person that was there, just happened to be there to let us in, yes.
A lot of work to go to have a rehearsal.
Yeah.
The world's most disappointing and lonely rehearsal. Now you also played at least one show, maybe multiple shows in the correctional system, right?
Yes. Yeah, we played several prison shows at Newton, played up at the Oakdale facility near Iowa City, and another prison, I can't remember which one, kind of more north central, northwestern Iowa. But yeah, playing the prison shows. That was a very interesting gig. We played up at what's the place up in Colfax? Can't think of what they're called.
Teen Challenge.
Teen Challenge.
Yeah.
Which obviously not a prison, but yeah, kind of. I don't know, how would you describe Teen Challenge? It's for guys.
It's a residential center for drug and alcohol abuse treatment.
And yeah, that playing there was amazing. But yeah, playing in prisons was amazing as well.
But challenging, right?
Yeah, getting in and out. I don't know if that's where you're leading, but getting in and out of the prisons was challenging with the equipment because they wanted, before you ever played, they needed a list of absolutely every single item that was coming into the prison, down to guitar picks and the amount of strings on your guitars. And they would check, and they would go through and check what you were bringing in. And then they would check when you were coming out that you brought out what you took in. So it was a time-consuming process getting in and getting out. Just kind of the gig in between, playing to the prisoners, was just kind of the afterthought. It was the getting in and getting out. That was the challenge there.
But probably a receptive crowd.
Oh, yes. The prisoners were awesome. I mean, we may have talked about this on here before, but you were playing to the prisoners that had been on good behavior. I mean, they weren't going to let in the people that were being bad and causing problems. You had to be on good behavior to get in. But I mean, we'd have anywhere from 100 to 200 prisoners each time. More leaning towards the 200 mark. And it'd be in the gym, and there'd basically be one or two maybe police officers around, and otherwise about 200 prisoners and the band and some volunteers. And yeah, we did our thing, and the prisoners were, if they were Christians, they were thrilled to have us and sing along with some of the songs that they knew. And even non-Christians would also come out. So you had the opportunity to minister to people that weren't Christians. They were just there because they're bored out of their minds in prison and wanted to see something live, some live entertainment. So,
yeah. So you've played in front of a wide variety of crowds.
Yes.
But that wasn't your first band.
No, I was in, 2 or 3 bar bands, I guess you would call it. Played just secular rock and roll music, like Metallica and danceable stuff like that in bars. So,
and if I recall the story correctly, you were in a garage band in high school too, and you probably would not have been selected as your classmates as most likely to love being on stage. Do I have that right?
I mean, I didn't even sing in high school. I didn't sing at all. I mean, I sang in the car. One of my friends discovered that I could sing pretty good in the car, and he was like, "Oh, me and a couple other guys are kind of messing around in a basement, playing some music. We need a singer. Why don't you come down and sing with us?" So that was, I was very much an introvert up to that point. Never really had any girlfriends. Didn't really talk much to anybody other than those very close to me. So the first time I ever sang in front of somebody, we were in the basement band. Actually, Neil Crott, who is a person well known here on Steve Shetler Media, Neil was playing drums. It was in his basement of Wayne and Kathy's house, and we had invited some girls over to see our cool band. Nice. And I was so nervous to be playing in front of girls that when we actually played, I had to turn my back to them. And basically, I was looking at Neil playing drums the entire time because I couldn't face the audience at that time.
That's thank you for sharing that story. I love that one. Oh man, it's so good, and I love your story so much because you're a guy that you weren't in choir, right?
Nope.
And not in band.
Nope.
And so
didn't do speech, didn't do anything in front of people.
And you also don't know how to read music, right?
Correct. Yeah, I still don't.
So after all these years of being in bands, you still don't. So how did you write rock songs for your guitar player?
I would hear them in my head, and I would sing them the way I would be singing it in my head. And I'm really good at making guitar noises. Here's where the solo is. But yeah, kind of vocalize and describe what I was thinking, and luckily I had Chris Weinrich. Some of our viewers might know Chris from Oskaloosa. He is a teacher at the Oskaloosa High School, an amazing, world-class guitar player, and he would be able to structure a song around how I'm describing it. So, yeah,
I love that. I love that. It's such a good story and such a good illustration of how you can take so little and turn it into so much.
Yeah.
And start so small, and your band was never nationwide and it never made a lot of money.
What are you talking about, man? Millions.
High Roller.
I mean, Piercing the Darkness was. That's the thing. It's like it was a band of locals from Southeast Iowa that God used in really an incredible way, because we ended up recording 2 different albums, and we got airplay on Christian radio stations literally around the world. I mean, we had documented airplay from around the world and around the United States. So yeah, it was amazing what God did once we started using our talents, and it just kind of blew up from there.
And that's fascinating to me too, because now you're the proprietor of Steve Shetler Media, which is also having just an extraordinary reach.
Yes.
Like, I don't know, when you started this off, did you ever think that people from faraway states would be tuning in to different programming?
No. I mean, my goal when I started this was to be able to go to my sponsors and say, hey, we hit 100,000 in a month. That way I'd be able to say, hey, each week we're hitting about 25,000 people with the different programs, with the different content, and it's gone way past that.
So how far past 100,000?
At one point here a couple weeks ago, we hit the 700,000 mark in 1 month. It makes no sense.
It's incredible. It seems like an act of God. If you're listening to us from far away and you don't know where Southeast Iowa is, and you don't know where the town of Sigourney is, this is not a big market.
It's a town of 2,000 people.
A town of 2,000 people in a county of about 12,000 people. And so to have a reach of 700,000, like that's three quarter of a million reaches in a month. And this it starts from faithfulness in small things.
The mustard seed.
And dear listeners, every good thing in life starts off that way. So if you feel like you're at the bottom of the heap, you got a band and you're playing to 2 people that you're so afraid of you can't even look at them, please remember Steve's story. And I'll finish with this too. The impact of what Steve is doing here on Steve Shetler Media is not just his own show, but he is bringing in artists from all over Iowa who are starting off in the music industry and giving them a place to show off what they've got. And I think that's just kind of one of the things God does in the world. You give a little bit to other people, and God takes that and just blows it up. And so I don't know if Steve will someday discover the next act that goes on to win America's Got Talent or whatever. But the results are far less important than the faithfulness. And so I think that's probably a good place to wrap up for this week. Right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Please, again, say hi to us in the comments, and we'll give you a shout out. Especially if you're from a faraway land.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear a little bit of a story about how you found us and what intrigued you about Real Talk with Aaron and Steve. We'll catch you all next week.
All right. See you later.